All right. What a excellent day. Hey, Jeff, James. Thanks, guys. Good to be back. All right. Just getting done setting up all my stream stuff.
Hello.
Hey, J Ruff. Okay. So RDBX is trading just below the VWAP now. This is what it did last time when it was testing lower bounds. Big stop loss hunt at 12:14. Started at about 10 afternoon, and finally closed at 12:15. That big stop loss hunt, trying to scoop shares out of retail hands as it dipped below the VWAP and touched the low. And then it consolidated for a while before it went on its next run. So I'm guessing that what we might be looking at is to stay on this trend. This is kind of like an average line trend. It's not really a support trend, but if this stays above, then I'm going to treat it as support. So that's currently what I've got on screen. I'm just cleaning up a few things. I had this arc set up as a musing little prediction of what the squeeze might look like if it just kept going, but this might be a little bit lofty. It's making some excellent new higher highs though, so no complaints. All right, so back to the 5-minute. Hey, chat. Sandra, Macron, Jeff, Maddox, Docs the Fox. Hey, guys. All right. ATER was setting up to make a move. Ah, yes. It finally popped through the VWAP, it looks like. Yes, it did. It just touched through the center of the VWAP. Excellent. I was hoping to add to my ATER position, but I'm still below my pattern day trader requirements in my other account. So I'm not allowed to take any positions until I get above that. I need to close and consolidate one of my accounts, but I have to wait for my options to die this Friday. I ended up FOMOing into some really stupid options on a piece of false news of Beyond. There was just fake news that that McDonald's was making their Beyond Burger a permanent addition to the menu, and I jumped into it, and it was a fake article that Benzinga was circulating. Bastards. I hate it when they just reprint these headline articles with no sources. It sets people up for failure. But that was my bad. I have to be responsible for my own trades. I shouldn't have taken that trade. Yeah. Yeah, I see Redbox is starting to struggle a little bit, but I'm using this as an opportunity to average down on my calls. This is a well, I'm averaging up, but still. The what I'm looking for this to do is make a quick bounce very soon. It needs to get back above this support line. I'm treating this as support now. I want to see it trading back on the VWAP and start making moves up again. The MACD has moved back down below, and they slammed this thing before power hour on purpose. You know they did. They don't want this thing to look good. So shorts are piling in, but this is already 92% of the float is on loan as of the last numbers. So let's go ahead and get an Ortex update on Redbox. Let's Get another Ortex window up. RDBX. Remember that we had a type 3 short squeeze signal that printed on Saturday. That's following the 29th trading session. Now, even if this looks like it's got a giant top wick, this is still a doji candle on the day. Very positive. There's a big gap on the morning, so your risk is way down at $6 if you enter. So just keep that in mind. I don't want to encourage people to FOMO without knowing their risks, but this is what we're looking at for Redbox, just to get everybody all caught up. So Redbox is currently 51% short of the free float. It's got a very small float, less than 4 million shares on the float. So retail is just eating this thing up. What I'm expecting to happen is failures to deliver to start really printing out of hand. This is also a non-optionable stock because there's not enough liquidity in the market, and the stock has been trading below $3, I think, for too long. So the options just aren't there for it. What this DD came from DM calls, or DMC for short, an analyst in Hell's trading floor, and also has a small Twitter following in a private account. And he called this one out at around $2. So a lot of Hell's trading floor got in between $2 and $2.50 thereabouts, and we caught this just in time for this next big move. And shorts doubled down on their positions big time. So, like I said, short interest 51%, and shares on loan is 2.67. With a float of just under 3 million shares and less than 4,000 outstanding, or I'm sorry, 4 million outstanding, there's basically nowhere for the shorts to get shares from. This thing's been maximum utilized ever since the shares on loan peaked at 1.6 million. And a whole bunch of bulls recalled their shares at that same time. So you'll notice this if you look at the cost to borrow. We'll take away the utilization and this stuff just to clean things up. So if you look at the on loan here, the cost to borrow was floating around 196. I don't know what this figure is, like what the unit of measurement is. But anyway, the cost to borrow went up by several points after the on loan skyrocketed, and it's risen again. So now the cost to borrow is currently at an average of 354%. That's an annualized one. Jason Lesney, we got bored today. What are my thoughts? Thanks for the $2, Jason. I am unfortunately going to have to tell you that I'm scaling out of my BRQS position because it has fallen below my risk. And the pattern is setting up that it looks like we're going to head down to 27 cents, and there's support at 25 cents below. So I'll consider a re-entry at those levels. I don't want to take any massive losses or massive risks. So with BRQS kind of retracing, I'm expecting shorts are going to be piling in on this one. So if that trend continues, then I'm going to wait for an opportunity where they drop the price to the lowest that it can possibly get for that they have control of, and wait for consolidation, and then I'll look to see where BRQS is at for a re-entry. I'm trying to play BRQS smart, but this is not a diamond play. It was never a diamond play. It's not one that I expect people to hold on to. There's not that kind of conviction in this stock like there is for GameStop, AMC, and some of the others. Redbox is one that I think could be a diamond-handed play just because there's a lot of nostalgia factor. A lot of people have good feelings about Redbox, and it's something that they might personally invest in. And also, there's other factors like Netflix losing some of its market share. So I'm sorry to say that I'm currently not in my BRQS position. I scaled out of that, and I had to take a small loss off of the top, roughly a 40% profit overall since getting into that position. At what did we get into that? It was like 20 cents, 21 cents. So it was like I guess it was more like 60% profit. Um, but I understand that several people got into that one late, so I am sorry. It's just kind of the nature of things. SOS is setting up very nicely. So what I did with SOS, this happened earlier in the stream today. So there was a news halt on SOS. This was brought to our attention by the real Tony Smith. So shout out to Tony Smith. He let us know about the news halt, and when SOS opened up out of the halt, it gapped up by about 20,
Sorry,
30%, I
sorry,
think.
Didney.
Yeah, what's up, RD?
If you wanna change your screen because it's just great.
Oh, whoops. Thanks for the heads up. All right, we're looking at SOS. Sorry about that. Thanks, Renee.
Uh-huh.
So with SOS, as soon as we saw it come out of the volatility halt, it gapped up and then retraced immediately. But the announcement of the news was a 600% return of revenue. So I took that as a sign that a bunch of people's limit sells were hit, and it pushed a bunch of market sells to the level two. So that pushed the price back down, and we took that opportunity by rushing into a bunch of near the money calls at $1.50 separately, 50 cent and $1 calls. Most of them were trading below 10 cents. Some of them were trading as little as 2 cents per call for May 20th and June 17th. June 17th. I'm still holding on to the Junes, but I day traded the May calls when we went up to 65 cents and started showing weakness. As soon as we crossed below this, I sold my May calls. The Junes weren't worth very much to begin with. They were up like 80%, but I bought them for 5 cents, and they were up to 10 cents. So I decided to hold on to those, but the Mays, I day traded those for a 300% profit. Anytime you see numbers like that, if it's good enough to take a screenshot, it's good enough to take profit. So now, where we are currently trading at with SOS, there's more interest coming into the call chain, and those costs have retraced. So now, if I wanted to, I could buy back into my position, but I'm not going to. I'm plenty levered up. I'm happy with the number of calls I have for SOS. Currently, I have 100 call contracts for $1 strike that I bought those for 5 cents, and they're up 20% at 6 cents on the mid. So I'm thinking that the news will start to circulate on SOS, and there will be big speculation for their earnings report, since this is still in their earnings period technically. So this is going to be big news for their Q2 earnings, which that is going to be coming up. I went and looked ahead. Their Q2 earnings is August 18th, so they could move that up and bring in a early announcement. Or actually, no, this would be for Q1 earnings. So interesting. Well, in any case, SOS is currently up and trading higher. This is the first leg. So if you're going to trade this, just know that it can get volatile, but it's setting up a really nice pennant pattern here after a big move to the upside. What I would expect for it to do is go ahead and get rid of that. What I would expect for SOS to do is to cross above this resistance. There was heavy resistance that I had marked out here at 58 cents because of this gap. So there's a big gap fill, which it did fill the gap and then retraced again. So that was also part of my rationale for taking the day trade and just selling the calls that I purchased. They were up 300% anyway. Um, so like no reason not to take those profits. But with this new announcement of a 600% jump in revenue, good chance the SOS announces an earnings report. And if they come forward with a good earnings report, then I'm thinking that interest will return to the stock. So I'm going to hold on to those June calls and see what they do. If the interest in this stock returns, this was a meme stock, so I'm betting that retail starts getting its attention brought back to this one, and just that interest could be enough to drive the price and volatility back up to this $1.20 level. There's also a gap back here between 150 and $2. So, I mean, $1 in the money for June isn't out of the realm of possibility. Holding RDBX since I think we have quite a bit more room to run, not financial advice. Thanks, LG. Yeah, I am in agreement. RDBX can set up to run again. This consolidation, this was a stop loss hunt, and they're trying to test support here. If bulls step in and take control of it again, the RSI is cooled off nicely, so bulls can actually take control of this again. The MACD is also getting ready to cross on the 5 minutes, so that could be a signal. So I went and doubled down on my RDBX position. And don't be too mad at me for this, but when RDBX crossed $10 and then showed weakness, I sold those, got those SOS calls, and then I day traded the SOS calls and bought back into my Redbox position at $9. So it was kind of a ballsy day trade where I was trying to where I was trying to catch a sudden run of volatility on SOS while also double down on my squeeze play. And I ended up doing it, so it did end up working out. But I was prepared to get back into my original RDBX position, even if I got down at a worse cost average. Hey, Jeremy, thanks. I'm glad to see that you're making some profit, dude. I have to give all the credit to the Hell's Trading Floor community. The real Tony Smith was the one who called out the news halt on SOS that brought it to our attention and got us to watch it. And seeing the news was huge confirmation to take a position. Very glad that we did that. RDBX, that was a call out by DM Calls, or DMC for short, and big thanks to him. He has been a frickin' squeeze wizard, finding all kinds of excellent plays for a long time. And of course, we've got the incumbent analysts like Verde and Occam's Phaser and Todd Bigsley, all the guys that are here doing constant due diligence all the time, always bringing new plays to our attention, and also taking requests for the Discord. So we always appreciate the analysts and all the other members of the Discord bringing due diligence and any stock that starts to show some kind of signs of volatility. We've got some additional plays in SST. This one's getting hammered by shorts pretty badly right now, but this is shorts that are over levering on their position at the moment. Most of the shorts that are pushing this thing down are actually at a much higher cost average, or I should say, they entered lower back down here below $10 on average, and they're still struggling. A lot of them got squeezed out of their positions, and then they were forced to re-enter. And I think I would venture to say that they are at a net loss right now, but they're trying desperately to keep this thing below $13 in order to cause all the call options for May the 20th to go out of the money. If bulls step in here and push the price back up to 15, then it will put a huge portion of the float in the money on the call chain, and that would be enough to start a gamma squeeze. But it's all a matter of whether retail is willing to step in and make that happen. So just starting here, we see that we're just below a massive area of support. So this is a buying zone. This is a zone of demand, is what we would call this. You see that on the volume chart, going all the way back to our original date of January the 20th, the average number of of purchases and volume occurred down here at this $12 to $13 level. So this is a massive area of support. If we can get retail's attention and if people start buying this dip and push the price back above 15 before May the 20th, then we'll end up putting about 35% of the float in this stock in the money. Carlton James, is anyone holding SOS overnight? I'm holding June calls, June monthly calls overnight. I'm actually going to be holding them probably for a bit longer to see if SOS sets up for a squeeze, because there's a high short interest, about 10% in SOS. This has actually been a meme stock in the past before they got hit by Hindenburg, the short report firm. They actually said that this company was a fake and it was a totally baseless report. They based it off of the fact that they originally set their mailing address to a hotel. And that was, I believe that was just a business necessity since they were renting a hotel room for their offices. But their offices have moved. And there was no basis for the short report. It was just bullshit, honestly. So the shorts had a field day crushing this one when it ran. And you can see that here, back when the price hit an all-time high of $15, shorts just took control of it. And they covered at, it looks like a large portion of them had covered at 250 by the time that it was all said and done. Most of the shorts had gotten positions at a little bit above $5. So many shorts taking a 100% profit. However, since then, short interest really hasn't faded. And now we're in a position where if shorts want to exit their positions, and they should be, honestly, because they could be taking a huge profit. Otherwise, they're trying to keep this thing below $1 in order to take it off of the NASDAQ and put it below listing requirements. And that would put pain on bulls and make things harder for the stock to recover. So those are some of the risks with SOS. It's not in danger of delisting anytime soon. They have only been under $1 since January, it looks like. So that gives them at least till next January for them to recover their price and get back above $1. Docs the Fox, jump in on RDBX at this price, good thing or too risky? I can't tell you what to do, and I can't really tell you. I don't do price. I don't do any kind of like price targets, but I do see support here. So the thing is that RDBX is risky because you've got a. It is showing a higher low, which is bullish. This is a very bullish thing. And the higher lows are escalating. Like they're increasing in incline, I guess is the way to put it. So this could be a good place to load up if you are bullish. If you are very bullish on the stock, this thing's already run 70%. So there could be weakness. There could be weakness in the stock. This could be shorts coming in to try and push it down further. But also remember that shorts have overextended themselves. This could be shorts covering. There's been a lot of covering over the past 2 days. Like you see how we ran yesterday, or not yesterday, but Friday. going from, we closed the day Thursday all the way down at $3.50 or thereabouts, and then we closed on Friday 70% higher at $6. It went to $6 in after hours, and then since then we gapped up by about 23%, and now we're currently trading 45% higher from yesterday's trading close. So consistently setting up higher lows. Now, there is a 2-day settlement period on short shares. So if the shorts are covering in this area, then tomorrow morning there will be a lot more shares returned, and we could see some selling pressure either from shorts or from bulls who are taking profits. So anybody who was lending out their shares will be able to sell them on Tuesday. Docs the Fox. So all right. So I want to be very clear. So Docs the Fox. I entered the position in RDBX at around $2.25, and I took profit in order to catch the SOS swing, and I sold at when it crossed $10, and then I took the money that I gained from SOS and I doubled my position in RDBX while it was around $9. So that was me doing my day trading, swing trading thing, and I do this regularly. So don't take this as a sign to just enter the position. I'm playing with a lot of house money right now. I am way up on my position by about 200%. So even at $9, I was already up 200%. And I did choose to add to my position, yes, but that doesn't mean that that's right for you. If all you're betting with is what you have in your account and you enter now, you are entering a very risky position. Okay, so be careful about it, and don't risk more than you're willing to lose, because that's always a danger. I do think that it will go higher, but I can always be wrong. BBIG Ortex, please. Okay, let's take a look at the chart for BBIG first and see where it's at. Okay, we're setting up a higher low, and we're forming a cup and handle. Go ahead and draw this out for you guys. Whoops, I need an arc. Give me the arc. All right, so nice cup and handle. So if we, kind of like a pennant or a bull flag, see this little bull flag come down here, and if we see continuation, then we should easily break through this fib level of 270. So BBIG, we're looking for it to break 270. I've already got a big mess of calls for July. So that's I'm pretty heavily positioned in BBIG for this run. I am expecting BBIG to break through the next several levels. And I'm also anticipating the Tide offering, as well as some disclosures on Low Motive and some of the other prospects that BBIG's invested in. They bought a lot of companies, and they're due to discuss some of their earnings. So let's go ahead and take a look at Ortex and see what's going on in BBIG's Ortex chart. We've looked enough at SOS. I'll go switch this to BBIG. Paolo Furione, I already discussed BRQS, but I did mention that I scaled out of my position. I'll be looking to re-enter if it crosses below 25 cents. The stock is getting hit pretty heavily by shorts right now. It retraced pretty badly and it crossed below my risk, so it's not a diamond hand play. There's just not enough conviction from retail for something like that, and it is a penny stock, so. Okay. All right, let's look at the short interest. The short interest of free float is 16.5%. Okay, that's good enough for me. Let's go ahead and look at the average age on loans. So 45 days. That'll take us back to the beginning of March. So the average days on loan are way back here. Yeah, a bunch of shorts covered while this thing was moving. Yeah, this is when the shorts started covering. It was at the price of $3.50, and then they started getting out of their positions after it fell to $2.50. Okay, so that's where BBIG's short interest went, and now all of these other shorts that have been holding for the long term, they're still in their positions. I'm guessing their average is somewhere around $5, but it's kind of hard to tell because it's pretty choppy. This has been pretty heavily traded by shorts and borrowers. This is the security lending volume on the bar chart, so you see just tons and tons and tons of short lending. So it's difficult to pinpoint exactly where they averaged in, but I'm going to be conservative and say that $5 is where most of the shorts got into their positions. So for BBIG to reverse and take control of the stock price, needs to move above $5 and stay there. The on loan is off the hook. Free float on loan is 27% of the free float. Cost to borrow, it peaked back here in April and it's slowly tapered off, but I think that it's about ready to start turning around because they've maxed out their utilization on this stock for a long time. They've been maxed out on utilization for a while. Let's go ahead and go back to the trading view charts. So BBIG, again, we're looking for it to cross 270. That's the big signal. That's a big fib level. As a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and I'll set a alert for 269. Okay. So if we get volume coming into BBIG above 270, $3 is where it's likely to head to, and then we need to see continuation there so that BBIG can carry on. And reach its next level of resistance. So I just want to complete this this channel that I drew here. BBIG was in a downward channel for a long period of time, and it broke this channel back on the 28th, so last Thursday. So now that we've gone ahead and broken through that, we'll be looking for BBIG to set up for a new run. You'll notice that BBIG likes to make cup and handles and big inverse head and shoulders patterns. Every time the BBIG has done this, it'll do like an inverse head and shoulders and then make a leg up, and then just all of a sudden it just takes off. Just inexplicably, it takes off. It happens. It happens every few quarters with BBIG, and I can't really figure out why, but it just does. I've looked back at the options flow historically, and I haven't seen any signs of this. I just can't seem to figure out what triggers all this buying. But anyway, we'll do our best to try to stay ahead of it. and predict the moves. But we got a nice spinning top on the daily candle. If it closes above 260, that spinning top will be a nice bullish candlestick to end the day with. Thoughts on ATER? I did discuss it a little bit, but ATER is setting up for another run. I'm looking for this one to run in after hours. The MACD just crossed on it, so that is bullish. I was hoping that I could have entered down here. I saw this big green candle here at 245, and I was expecting this to lead to a run, and it's starting to look that way. But I'm sadly marked as pattern day trader, and I can't negotiate. I can't negotiate any more positions. Let's see. Prague is old news. Look, guys, I'm sorry. Like, I can't make Progenity run every time that we talk about it. I do my best to call these things as realistically as possible, but like I got stuck in this position the same way everyone else did. Progenity is waiting on fundamental catalysts. Their executive staff has been just totally quiet about their preclinical trial data for their Precludia product, and we don't know what the status is of the OBDS and DDS systems. So I have leaps. I still have my leaps. I haven't sold my positions, but there's nothing to talk about. I'm not going anywhere. Like, I'm not leaving Progenity. I'm holding on to my position for the long term. I still have thousands of shares in my portfolio, and I have dozens and dozens and dozens of leaps. I'm not going anywhere. I'm in this one for the long term. But if there's nothing to talk about, there's nothing to talk about. I'm sorry. Don't get mad at me just because there's no news. We are in downtrend, and there was a big after hours move. So I'll go ahead and set some. I'll set some alerts here just to track this, and if we can cross this threshold, then that would be an indicator of a return to a bullish momentum. Okay. So if Progenity decides to make a return to a return back to $1 level, then that would be ideal. I don't want to see this one be put at risk of delisting. That would be awful. But it's far too early for that to even really be a fear. It's only just dipped below $1 this week. So, well, 2 weeks, but you get the idea. There's not been enough time. Okay, ALZN. So ALZN is starting to show some volatility. It created this bullish pennant after a big run from 90 cents to $1.10, which is what I was looking for. This is setting up for a new move. And just like I thought, Todd Alt has been talking about it on his channel. So I'm expecting him to start talking about it. And once he does, and he gets the right people to talk about it on Twitter and StockTwits, inevitably it'll start to take off. So I've already got a pretty heavy position in ALZN, mostly calls, though I kind of wish I had just gotten shares because they're kind of getting uncomfortably close to expiration. Thinking it would have definitely been better to get shares because I would still have the equity. But what are you going to do? In any case, ALZN's calls are extremely cheap for May 20th, although I would really be looking to get into June's and August's if I was going to play calls at all. I don't think I will, though. I think if I add anything else to my position, it'll just be shares, because I was expecting this thing to make a big reversal, and it looked like it was going to, but it petered out. So it would have been better if I had taken my profits here in my calls and then tried to average down on shares, and then I would have been in better shape. But you can't play it perfectly. CRXT dead after dilution? No, we were actually saying that CRXT was going to make a comeback as a result of the dilution. Shorts are just taking as much profit from it as they possibly can while it's diluting. I do got to admit, it's looking pretty bearish, but it's testing this resistance, so not all is lost. The OBV is still extremely divergent. So just because the price is oversold doesn't mean that it can't come back. I'm still hanging on to this one. I'm still holding my position in CRXT. I am down 30%, but that's okay. Did I address NILE yet? It's up 3.5%. I don't know if I did look at NILE yet today. 3.5% is great. Oh, so it is. Suddenly it's woken up. Interesting. Well, I'm still at a loss, but it would be nice if NILE decided to keep running. This is what I've been waiting for. It needs to break this trend. Like, it really needs to break this trend. I don't know what Todd Alt is doing, but he seems to be more interested in pumping other tickers besides his own. Check up on a couple of things with work. Okay. Let's go take a look at some of the other plays. Mullins still consolidating. Redbox still consolidating. But it's starting to look like it's breaking support. Thoughts on MOS and other fertilizer companies? Fertilizer company. I'll look at the technicals for a second, but that doesn't really sound that interesting to me. I'm sorry to say. I feel pretty judgmental about that.
I did see briefly something about that. So let me try and remember. I'll post it later in Trading Floor if I remember.
All right. Thanks, Verde. If you find some
But
DD on this one, I'll at least look at it. But
yeah, it was something that was a massive shortage of. Okay, I'll think about it.
All right. SOS has a knife candle. SOS is setting up higher lows. Looks like it found support at 54 cents and it kept going. So that's pretty cool. Hey, maybe those June calls will print after all. Thoughts on Fubo? Fubo TV, I remember this one. Oh, well, it looks like they're making a little bit of a move today. What are they currently up? 11%. That's nice. Still trading sideways, but it looks volatile. So I guess if you're a day trader, this would probably be a fun one to day trade. Way oversold on the OBV chart. What does this look like on the daily? What in the hell?
I remember now. It was phosphorus shortage. It is used as a fertilizer, basically.
Fertilizer. Okay. Okay, so on the daily chart, Fubo from November of last year has fallen 91%. Dear God. The short interest must be ridiculous. Of course it is. The utilization isn't even maxed out on it either. Ugh. Well, I mean, it could turn around, and that would be fantastic. I remember playing this one a long time ago when it was like, man, this takes me back. I invested in this very briefly during, I think it was maybe it was later. It was doing this stuff. This was probably about the time that I had gotten into it. Wow. Anyway, I haven't touched this one for a long time. I see that it's way oversold. I can look into it a little bit more for other catalysts. 3 days to the earnings report. Roku versus Fubo. Well, Roku sold off, didn't it? Because they had, or did they recover in their earnings?
Bounced back.
Bounced back? Okay. Yeah, I see. All right, so Roku bounced back in their earnings, so maybe Fubo will follow. I'd be interested in seeing some DD on Fubo if you could take the time, Verde. It could be an interesting play because I mean, if Roku did really well, then I know that Roku is performing well in the face of Netflix getting smashed. So maybe Fubo TV could do the same thing. I'd love to see some of the short exempts and stuff on that one. Let's see. Let me check out the. Oh yes, that's a good point. Thanks for reminding me about that. Prog changed their name to Biora Therapeutics, so that name change is probably going to affect their PR. I'm wondering if they have been withholding on any fundamental changes because or making any announcements around their like fundamental company changes because of that. If they've been holding off for the rebrand, then it makes sense that now that they've got a new brand and they're ready to start marketing it differently, that maybe it'll rekindle interest in the stock, and that's what they're waiting to make announcements during, is once everybody is fully um, come to has fully returned to Progenity as Biora Therapeutics. But we shall find out. Sorry, guys. Trying to take care of some client stuff. All right. Ding, ding, ding. That's the bell. All right. So Redbox closed at $8.54. Still a huge win for it. What a day. That's an excellent day for Redbox. I don't think it's done. I'm just saying. I might be overly optimistic, but I don't think Redbox is done. It's just been 2 days of squeezing shorts more and more and more, and putting more pressure on bears. ATER closed the day at a high of $5.64. That's very nice to see. Let's actually go check this out on the watch list. AMC closed down at down by 4 cents from its open, $15.26. Pretty much break even. ATER up 9%, BBIG 7%. BRQS took a 21% dive today. I am sorry. I saw that coming. After it broke down below 30 cents, I was like, that's it. It's below the risk level. So I'm waiting for it to retrace and find support. I'll jump back into BRQS once it reestablishes some clear strength. And I am sorry if I am sorry for anybody who is still in this. What I would say is that please don't wait for me to tell you that I'm buying or selling. Don't wait on YouTubers to tell you what they're doing, because by the time they do that, like myself included, like as I'm telling you, I'm changing my positions. As I am telling you that I am getting out, I'm already in the process of getting out, and then a bunch of people just do the same thing. People just listen to what I'm saying, and then they'll change their positions on the fly. And of course, I accept that people will blame me for that, but I'm just another human being and I have to negotiate my positions. But the difference is that I have a YouTube channel. I have to be transparent about any changes to my positions, and I have to let you know what I'm doing, and I have to be honest. So I'm not going to lie to people and tell you if I'm going to tell you one thing, like say that I'm buying when I'm actually selling. Like I can't do stuff like that, and I can't feed people bullshit, and I refuse to do that. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to teach people how to trade, and I'm here to let people know what they can do to build up their own strategies. So it's I can't stress this enough. Please don't trade just exclusively based off of my take on a stock. And don't wait for me to tell you something looks bad. Learn how to do this stuff on your own. And certainly people have profited from the trades that I make. I'm sure they have. But if you're waiting for me to tell you when to buy and sell, you're wasting your time. What you should be doing is you should be looking at how I trade. You should be looking at how I'm setting up technical analysis, and you should be looking at the price levels I'm setting. Because I've been setting alerts on BRQS all this time, and I said, hey, if it breaks down below this and that and the other, then it's looking bad. You should probably consider your risk. And when I say that, perk up your ears, and I say this is your risk level, you're risking X. That's where you should consider what does the trend look like, and if the trend is against you, then don't fight it. So please don't try to to fight the trend of the stock market. You're not going to win. And don't do what millions of other people are doing just because millions of other people are doing it. Following the crowd is how people become bag holders. If it was easy, everyone would do it. It's not. And in fact, the more people that are in something, the more opportunity there is for a bunch of people to take losses because they're not paying attention like day traders are. Okay. Oh, man. I think I just coughed up a lung. Let's take a look at HCDI. Oh, it started running. Did I get my fill on it? I did. I did get my fill. I got a fill on HCDI for $3.24. So I got a basket of shares on HCDI, and now we're looking to capture. We're going to be looking for this one for a short squeeze. This one. I'm sorry that I didn't spend a lot of time on this one, but I was looking at this with some of the professionals during the meeting just yesterday. That video is up, by the way, if you're interested. But this one is a heavily shorted stock that's got it's got a lot of attention building on it. And this was also called out by DM Calls. So he was the one who brought RDBX to our attention, and he called it out at $2 flat, and that's where he got his position at. I got my position at $2.25 or so, just roughly estimating because I don't exactly remember. And the short interest of the free float is over 30% now. Now this is what Redbox did. HCDI, I don't think it trades options. Go ahead and show you my Ortex data while I go find out if HCDI has options. It does not. So that's another one, kind of like BRQS or Redbox, no options. So that means market makers don't have liquidity available to them. Currently on loan is 2.86 million shares. That's a pretty good chunk of the float. I'd say that about 40, let's see how my head math is, 41.9, that's pretty close. 41.9% of the free float is currently on loan. The cost of borrow average is close to 250%, a little under 250%. Again, that's an annualized cost to borrow, paid daily. The is not on the threshold list. The security lending volume has been peaking for the last 2 weeks, and failures to deliver hit a high of 28,000, which is not a huge ton, not a big one. And I want to take a look at the short exempts on HCDI because there was a few indicators that ScourgeBot called out. I think there was a mirror indicator on this. It is fully utilized and has been ever since March 24th. So there was some covering that took place during mid-March, and that caused the price to run, and then short slammed it again. Maximum utilization. Price got pushed down, and now the price is moving against them, and it's actually past their average. So for the shorts that averaged down, a lot of them have been holding for a long time, over 100 days. So a lot of these shorts got in January. Ooh, December and January. So we're about ready to cross their thresholds. Yeah. Look at all these shorts. Look at all these shorts that got in. Look at all this borrowing that happened here. Tons and tons and tons of shorts just piled in here. Max utilization. That's wild. Let's look at what the short interest did. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Max utilization. Shorts got pummeled in November when this thing ran. They closed out their positions here on November 15th and then re entered November 26th. Got hit again and then got out December 9th. And as they scaled out, the short interest has been falling. And now it's risen and they've got back in again. Like the shorts in this one have lost 3 times consecutively. And the ones that are in here, they're not even break even anymore. And now they're losing. Anyone who got into a short position here, they're losing badly. Anyone who's a legacy short in this one, they're way, way in the red. Wow. All right. Well, whoever is playing HCDI to the short side is getting schwacked right now. So this one is absolutely could be put into retail control. This has a very small float, so I'm going to pay close attention to this one. It's currently up to $3.24 after hours. It had a big move today, but I'm okay with this position. Earnings might be good. There seems to be some anticipation for that. They reported pretty good earnings, a small 2-cent surprise in their earnings, and a $2 million revenue surprise in expectations. So could be good. Could be very good. For those wanting to know a little bit about the company itself, the company is an emerging growth company that engages in construction, sale, and management of residential properties. Its portfolio includes single-family lots, multifamily properties, and home communities. The company was founded by Sterling Griffin in February 2014 and is headquartered in Gig Harbor, Washington. So this is pretty close to Seattle, which this is a high demand area for homes, and a lot of home starts have been happening in Seattle. And I only know that because I've been closely tracking the housing market, waiting for the housing market to crash. So the thing is that these construction companies are likely to get pushed to finish their homes and rush to do so. So they're going to be hiring contractors to do this. And I didn't do this due diligence ahead of time, but I did mean to cover this earlier. That HCDI it's kind of in the housing space, but it's if there is a housing crash, they're not necessarily going to be affected by it in the near term. It would affect them later on once availability of homes skyrockets. So in the short term, this thing can actually move pretty strongly against shorts. If you've listened to some of my other DD on like a housing market crash, I still think that's happening, and I'm actively betting against the housing market. I'm hoping to get into a position in this ticker here. This is DRV, Direction Real Estate Bear 3X shares. This is an ETF that bets against the real estate market. Basically, think of companies like Zillow and home brokers and stuff like that. This ETF bets against those companies. So there's a lot of negative things happening in the housing market in the near term that I'm thinking are probably going to lead to a housing crash as we head into the autumn. So I'm gonna be betting against the housing market. Just, I haven't been quiet about that exactly. This thing has already moved 43% just in the last 12 days. So I'm a little bit late to the party. There was a big announcement of real estate data from Redfin and Zillow and a bunch of other market data trackers. CRXT as it's dropped even lower. Chronicle, yeah, I can look at it again, but I already discussed this one. CRXT, I'm I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it retracing again after this pop at the end of the day. So I might average down my shares on this one actually because this one is a big short interest play. I see this one being a potential short play that could play to the upside, but I'm not going to make that position change just yet. I'm going to be patient and look for more support and confirmation of a reversal before I do that. Short interest is currently 2.5%. Where did it go? I could have sworn there was. Oh, I see. They got out after it bottomed out. Okay. Well, so much for that. I'll see what happens. The company may turn around. I'm guessing that shorts were anticipating the dilution and they took advantage of it. But we'll see what happens. It's probably not going to stay down here if the company has got some good prospects going for it. Let's go take a look back at it on TradingView. They're just in a downtrend right now, and it kind of sucks. We'll see what happens. What basically occurred that I was talking about with the short interest is that the stock ran like this and shorts just smashed it. They were anticipating the dilution. Somebody knew what was going on, so they pumped the price up to get in a bunch of retailers in, and then they shorted at the top. I'm thinking that's what took place, and I probably fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. I will keep watching it. I'm still in my position. I didn't sell it yet. It's just in a bad down channel right now, so I'll just keep an eye on it. RDBX short interest update. Sure. I don't think it's updated anything yet. 51.2%. So same as before. Hasn't changed. Yep, no change. Cost to borrow is lifted a little bit to 354% on average, so that's a pretty significant update. The cost to borrow is increased a lot. Hmm. I would love to see where the Ortex data sends this to tomorrow morning. Remember that Redbox is currently on the threshold list, and a lot of the loan on loan shares. Well, there's 96% of the shares on the float are currently loaned out, so that's a huge number. That's not normal. That's 96 out of every 100 shares are borrowed. That's that's like GameStop. That's almost like GameStop levels of borrowing against the company. Docs the Fox. Just to clear something up for you, do not want a stock to be on the threshold list, right? Like from a bullish stance. So the threshold list is it's neither bullish or bearish, but it is a sign of market makers failing to deliver stock in mass. So it's more like a it's more like an indicator of loss of control, which can be bullish. So if there's a basically, in order for a stock to end up on the threshold securities list, it needs to have more than 0.5% of its outstanding shares fail to deliver for 5 consecutive trading days or more. So a stock goes onto the threshold list after the 5th day of massive failures to deliver. And every day after that, increases the amount of time, obviously, that it's been on the threshold list. Now, on the 13th consecutive day, that's T plus 13, so only trading days count. So weekends and holidays don't count, but trading days, 13 consecutive trading days while on the threshold list, a stock is marked as it is marked as over the threshold list limit, and a stock can anybody who is failing to deliver shares after 13 consecutive days is subject to forced closure, meaning that they will be forced to buy shares out of the market or borrow shares in order to deliver their stock. This is enforced by the trading systems. It's not across the board, and the brokers themselves are often the ones that are the ones failing to deliver like this. And at that point, it's up to basically FINRA, the regulators, and the SEC, the enforcers, to force that company, whoever they are, especially if they're a broker, to cover their failures to deliver. So that's what the threshold list means. If a stock is heavily shorted, overborrowed, overleveraged, and it is currently running against shorts, then there's a high likelihood of squeeze potential. At the very least, it's likely to become volatile. So that's what being on the threshold list means. It's in this context, it's bullish for RDBX. Now, if after 5 days, if RDBX falls off the threshold list in a couple of days, then that means that they found enough shares to cover their FTDs and they've closed them out. So if that occurs, then they regained control of things long enough to get it off the threshold list. In order for a stock to come off the threshold list, it needs to be under that 0.05% failure to deliver of outstanding shares for 5 consecutive trading days. BRQS, I've already talked about it today, but I have scaled out of my position, Jason. It fell below my risk, and I'm waiting to re-enter below 25 cents. We'll see what happens. I'm not abandoning it. I know my risk, and I am taking an exit before I give back all of the profit that was made on that one. So I'm looking for a re-entry at a cheaper price. Bears are in control right now, or so it seems. So I'm gonna look for a re-entry. Wait for it to find support. Okay. Short interest on. There's a lot of tickers for me to catch up with, guys, and I'm gonna be I'm gonna be running out of time here. Oh, somebody said that my clock stopped. Sorry about that. I didn't realize my clock stopped, but no big deal. I got a lot of tickers to look at, guys, and I don't have a lot of time. IRNT, I see it hitting this bottom and a big green candle at the bottom of the zone of demand, so I was expecting a bounce at some point. Now we're looking for it to establish a trend line. If it starts to follow this trend, this is my optimistic bullish trend for IRNT. If it starts to follow this and work its way towards the top of this channel, then hopefully we'll see it return to $4 over the next month. I like RNT. It's a nice company. Big cybersecurity fan here. I like cybersecurity stocks, and this one seems good. I like the product. I haven't run into it personally, but yeah. Captain Insano says BRQS earnings came out. I'm assuming that it's not looking good. Captain Insano, if you happen to have a link to that, I'll be happy to review it.
Currently trading at 25 cents.
Yeah, I see it. BRQS is trading pretty far down right now. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I can't be in everybody's phone all the time to let them know when something bad is going on. I try my best, but that's the problem with being a public figure of any kind. As soon as you tell someone, you've told everyone. And I can't be preferential about it. It's just because that's kind of illegal. Bork's only released a F20, no PR. All right. F20F annual report. All right, we'll check this out really quickly. Key information. Here we go. Net loss from operations. They're taking on some pretty bad expenses. They're taking on a lot of expenses. That's probably why this is not doing well. Total assets are outweighed by liabilities by about 17,286 deficit. This is in millions of dollars, isn't it? Or is this in thousands of dollars? It's presented in US dollars. Okay. So this is in thousands of dollars. So you read this as 17.286 million. Unpredictable reductions in demand for certain products and services and adverse effects on operations, supply chains, and financing possibilities. So it's not a good outlook for the company. Basically, like the whole first 12 pages of this thing is basically like our supply chain's screwed up, COVID sucks, and we're having trouble finding financing. Intense competition from onshore and offshore third-party providers in the Android platform and software market. If we are unable to compete effectively, may lose customers and our revenue may decline. So they're just it's like bad, 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 bad all over this document. That is frustrating, truly. Wow. These are the dangers of technical trades. One fundamental catalyst against you can really screw things up. Yeah, I'm really sorry, guys. BRQS was set up for a nice run, but I was expecting something much better than this to come out of any sort of company announcement. I guess that's why Isuza gave them money. Soaking up their financing opportunities. Well, I still hope that most people are up on their positions and that they at least made some profit on this one. We did catch this at 20 cents, so even if you sold now, you should be profitable. Though I do wish that we could have been more profitable. Exited at the right time. Can't diamond hand an option. Oof, oh wow, this is not good. Oh, that after hours candle is not good. All right, I'm going to stop covering this one. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. RDBX is still looking strong. BBIG, holding up in after hours. CRXT, looking rough. Roku, oh, we were comparing Roku to Fubo. And Fubo's in a zone of demand, so You can track a zone of demand if you see it's broken below all historic supports and it's consolidated there. So that's what a zone of demand looks like if anybody is curious about that. You see these stop loss spikes down here, these big bad spikes where things just like hit rock bottom and then bounce back the very next day. That's what you look for. Those are zones of demand. So since it's in a zone of demand, a reversal is possible. It's a nice area to pick up some shares, just if you're looking for a volatile swing trade. And who knows, this thing could. This has some pretty decent short interest. So thanks to the person who called this one out. We'll look at it for a swing trade opportunity. Prog. Prog's not doing anything. I'm not going to repeat myself on the chart. Mullen's doing the same thing with consolidation. AMC still consolidating. Honestly, it's downtrend at this point. The OBV is still holding up though. It just crossed below it just crossed below the level on the OBV that I was looking at before. I'm going to be paying close attention to the whale flow on AMC. This MACD cross also could mean something. RSI is approaching oversold. Same thing with GameStop. MACD is just not quite ready to cross, but it's can cross at any day with good volume and a return back to just any rebound, really. RSI is approaching oversold. Volume is low, but rising over its past week's trading sessions. And the OBV is also still divergent. No big sell-offs. So all of this selling pressure is artificial. Mostly it's just shorts hammering it, pushing it lower and lower and trying to get it below the bid. HCDI spike. Okay. Oh yeah, look at that. Thanks again to DM Calls for this one. Always appreciate his perspective on these short plays. Right, so what else do we have? Oh, Robinhood. We still have to look at Robinhood and spit on it today. They bounced. Robinhood bounced a little bit, but honestly, I'm thinking Robinhood's going to go bankrupt. I don't believe in you, Robinhood. You can't do it. You mean nothing to retail. IRNT. Oh, SOS. That was the other one from today. So SOS is consolidating in after hours very nicely. Set up higher lows, and if you were here on stream earlier today, then you hopefully caught this this big volatile swing and got some good calls. I hope that you day traded some of those because this was a great 300% profit taking opportunity, and now you could be averaging down at your original cost basis. Since most of that value is retraced. So if you're in this one like I am, what I did was I at the news halt, as soon as it came out of the halt, I looked for some cheap options that were far out expiration. I got May 20s and June 15th or June 17th, and I sold the Mays here when we retraced back down to 60 cents, and I held on to the Junes because there was it was roughly the same price anyway, and they were super cheap, and it gives me 60 days to expiration, so can't complain about that. RDBX pushing? No, it isn't. Well, I guess it is kind of. I gotta look at it in after hours. It's kind of a push. We'll see. I think this is gonna have to be it for me though. I've been streaming all day long, guys. jumping in and out of things, and I've got a lot of people at work that are now looking for me. So I'm going to go ahead and bail. I hope you guys had a hell of a trading day. I am personally very happy with the changes. My portfolio has had a nice 20% push today because of these quick swing trades that were brought to our attention. So hopefully for those of you who are with us, this has been a really nice day to be in Hell's trading floor. Just a reminder, please be sure to leave us comments. I read all of the comments, even if I don't answer all of them. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed the stream, and of course, if you want to get early access to the due diligence that we do, and also be a part of the due diligence process, please join us at Hell's Trading Floor by joining our Patreon and subscribing at patreon.com/the devil's broker, which will take you to our Discord at discord.gg/Hell's Trading Floor. And one other reminder, we have some affiliate links for our partners at Ortex, Tiblio, and TradingView if you want to get access to these charts, and also help out our Discord and our community at the same time. Your support helps us fund more projects and things like our Scourge bot that we use to find these squeeze and swing plays all the time. That's going to be it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and you guys have a hell of a time in the markets tomorrow.